Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk about host forwarding. All right, so let's take a look here. Let me go there we go, one step further so we can see some IP address information on the device. So here we have a host, 192.168.2.30/24. That's a subnet mask, /24. We'll talk more about this stuff in a moment. But anyway, it wants to send a packet to 192.168.3.4/24 subnet mask. So let's take a look at the addressing information on this device here who's sending the packet. First of all, you notice it has an IP address and a subnet mask. We'll see later, in a later video, how this is used to inform the device that it is on a network 192.168.2.0 with the first 3 octets, the first 3 digits, signifying the network address. We'll see how it does that later. But the packet, the destination IP address of the packet it's sending it to is this one right here, 192.168.3.4. And you will notice that this address here for this device is not part of this network. Notice it starts with 192.168.3. So, and this is 192.168.2. We'll see more of this later, but our device here, let's call it computer A, sending to computer B, make this a little simpler, realizes that we are not on the same network. So it's going to send it to a device that is on its network. It's going to encapsulate this packet in a data link frame that is on its network. But the idea is, who does it send it to? And this is where computer A needs a default gateway address. And this will be an IP address on its network. So this is the IP address of the default gateway, 192.168.2.1. And knowing the address of the default gateway, computer A can send this packet and any packets which is not in its own network. It can send it to the default gateway. Yeah. So it knows the IP address of the default gateway. We'll see later, and we've talked about this with ARP, that it will send a ARP request. So let me back up here. So what it will do, let me kind of clear this. There we go. What it's going to do is look in its ARP cache for here's the IP packet. So what it wants to know is what is the destination MAC address, the MAC address associated with this IP address 192.168.2.1. It will look in its ARP cache. If it's not there, it will send out a ARP request. The router will respond with an ARP reply. It will then be able to put the MAC address of the router's NIC card in the Ethernet frame as the destination MAC address. It will also add it to its ARP cache, and then it can forward the frame onto the router. But the host needs a default gateway address to get out of its own network. It's kind of the local post office. If I can't get there directly by walking the package to a house in my neighborhood, no matter where it is, a neighborhood next door, a neighborhood halfway across the world, I just take it to the post office. Okay, so some other ways you can see this information. You can use ipconfig. This will show you the information, your IPv4 address in this case, subnet mask, and default gateway. This is all for IPv4. Similar for IPv6. We'll talk about IPv6 in a later video. You can also take a look at the host routing table. So yes, hosts have a routing table, and we can use the netstat -r command, and we can actually use that on various operating systems. But notice that here's the default gateway address. It's actually quad 0. and it gives us the default gateway address. Yep. So that's the where this device is going to send any packets for a device that is not in its 192.168.2.0 network. So this is just an introduction to host forwarding. We'll take a look at IP addressing, default gateways, and all this information in later videos.